Welcome to Flip the Script with Vic, a sacred space for honest, unfiltered, and sometimes taboo conversations between women walking the path of truth, healing, and soul remembrance. What started as my personal exploration has become a communal prayer, a podcast devoted to amplifying women's stories in their own words. I'm your host, Victoria Nielsen, intuitive healer, mama, and space holder for the divine feminine. Here, we gather as cycle breakers, mothers, mystics, creatives, witches, and wild ones, flipping the script on what it really means to be a woman in today's world. Through raw interviews, intimate solo casts, and brave conversations, we'll chat about motherhood, mysticism, psychedelics, spirituality, and more. You'll be reminded that your voice matters, that your truth matters, that you're here to walk in beauty. So be the prayer, and let's flip the script. Are you ready? Let's jump on in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Flip the Script with Vic. It's your host, Victoria Nielsen. I have a super special guest today, my sound healing mentor and friend, Leah Cavazzini. And she is joining us from Mexico, but I always feel like you're Carmen Sandiego, where I'm like, where in the world is Leah today?
Yes, I'm around a lot.
But I love it. I love it. The crystal bowls. So all of my bowls or recent purchases of bowls have come from Leah. And, you know, as I said, I love the way that you teach sound and the way that you teach frequency and really just your energy in the world. But I know this is not how you've always been. You always tell the story of how you used to work in fashion and how so much has changed for you since working with crystal bowls. So I would love for you to introduce yourself on the pod, of course, and then share a little bit of how crystal bowls found you and how they've changed your life.
Okay. So thank you so much for having me, Victoria. It's really nice to be connected again. And yeah, I was working in fashion for a lot of my life. I've always been attracted to beauty and clothes and just getting dressed, the art of adorning and decorating ourselves. And then I found myself in Italy when I was 19, I did a study abroad there, and then I just stayed because I had a citizenship. I'm also Italian. And so I worked in fashion, and I kind of got into this whole like, wow, I'm here. I was working in high fashion, going to runway shows, doing a lot of PR. Somehow I ended up on that side of it. And I eventually really burnt out. Meditation and my spiritual path was always really ingrained in me from a young age. So I feel really lucky for that blessing. But I kind of forgot about it. In those years, it was like Facebook was when you had Facebook for university. Remember that? Like you had to have like an email. And so like having a spiritual practice was not that easy back then because I was living in Italy. Like now I feel like it's a lot easier with the internet because there's people you can follow and stuff. But back then I was like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna work in fashion. And then a year before COVID happened, I found myself in a crystal therapy course because I always loved crystals and I was always gravitating towards them and wearing them and bringing them with me to Fashion Week and even Kundalini Yoga. Are you still teaching Kundalini?
Not in person anymore, really just online. But yes, I've come back to it. I feel like it's funny, just like with sound, just like with anything. Like, I don't know, I took a little detour and now I'm coming back.
So I found Kundalini Yoga like in 2018, something like this. And I remember I went to Fashion Week and there was a model and she was teaching Kundalini. I was like, I need something. I'm just burning out. Like, and so I always kind of had it back here, but I just was into the other stuff. And so then I got into sound through crystals. And I like to really share that I got into sound through crystal therapy because I never considered myself musical. And that for me is just like crazy because I'm not like a normal mental human when it comes to studying music. I have a really hard time with like the normal way to study things, right? And if I think about it now that singing and playing sound is what gives me the most joy, but back then I was like, I'm not musical, but because of crystals and the way that I kind of was introduced to sound, I was able to connect with crystal bowls and really feel the sound instead of having to start from here. And so that's something that I really want to share with a lot of people is that you don't like, I didn't think that I was musical at all. But to read into the story, I was studying crystal therapy, and my teacher at the time, which was in Italy, she used bowls to connect with sound. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I want a bowl. And then from there, it just kind of opened up. And it's really funny because I brought this is my first ever bowl that I ever had. I know. I was going to sell her when I was in Italy, and then everything was just like, no, 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 no. And I brought her on the plane.
I love that. We need to like get into like the way that you pack them too, because it always blows my mind that you are like on a bike in Italy carrying like 8 sound bowls and like they don't break. Like
Uh-uh.
they don't break. I think like you were the one that taught me like you need to ask them if they want to come with you. So
Yeah.
now anytime on retreat, like I don't just automatically take my bowls. I ask like who wants to come with me? Like what do like what do you want to do? And like it's made a huge difference. Like I have a lot less fear about breaking them because I'm like, oh, they asked to come. Like they want to be here.
Do you feel like when you ask, it's kind of like activating your inner child, right? And it also takes away kind of like a pressure from us that we have to do so much because you have these bowls that it's like, oh, they're gonna have they also have their own say in whatever we're co-creating.
Exactly. And like when I went through your sound healing like certification, you made it very clear that like you don't need crazy expensive bowls. That actually frosted bowls are better because they are like a clear template for you to work with and you to better understand yourself. And like I remember I had never actually my very first bowl, I'm like staring at it now, was a sacred chakra bowl. And like I had never stopped to just work with one bowl and like sit there and be like, what does it have to tell me? And like that blew my mind. And then to go like individually down each of my bowls and be like, okay, what do you have to share with me today? Like was revolutionary for me because I feel like, I don't know, you always see everyone with like all their bowls and their whole set. And like you think that that's what you have to have, but really it starts with one bowl and that's it.
No, I'm so happy that you say that because that's the one thing is there's not necessarily a better or worse, but I think that in this world of consumerist culture that we're in and consumerism, we think that we need to buy this really expensive thing. And yes, while sometimes something expensive does equal value, when it comes to crystal bowls, if you just have one white frosted bowl, that's enough. I did a sound healing when I was in Florence with just one bowl and a girl who played the harp. That's it. And I sang, and it was amazing. And I actually think I'm going to record a sound healing with just this one bowl because I feel you can do it with just one. Yes, of course, it's nice to have a lot, but I think it's just about bringing it back to simplicity and also using your voice a little bit because my sound healing training has extended now. It's 12 weeks and I'm like, I still don't know if that's enough time. But I have two modules also on the voice because it made me sing. Like they made me sing. When I met you, Victoria, I was because we met in a container where we were talking about all of our creative stuff. And I wasn't sharing crystal sound because I didn't feel like I was ready, even though it's my thing. And I was sharing more voice stuff. But if I really get to the like juice of it, crystal bowls are what made me sing.
Like now I automatically like find myself humming and
I love that.
vocalizing and like and same it's like our voices are a musical instrument and like we are afraid to use them because we think it doesn't sound good or we're not a professional singer and like I think it took me taking your course to realize like it's not about sounding good, it's not even about like harmonizing with goals per se, it's like letting whatever wants to move through you and realize that like that frequency, that tone, that energy is like really what matters, not about it sounding like professional or perfect.
Yeah. Like just getting out of the way. That's so wonderful that you that you got all that because that's that's really just all that I want is for people to really connect from here. To not be here about like, oh, what frequency is going to work or what notes or what. No, here, like just really drop in and feel. All that other stuff, yes, it's important to a certain degree, but here, can we really
Mhm.
feel what we're doing?
I love that because our heart guiding the way, I mean, to me is the future. I mean, your
a divine feminine goddess. Like you're a rose priestess like me. Like, we, you know, it's coming back to that opening of the heart, and you know, the second I find that like I'm in my brain of like, oh, this is this note, and I mean, yes, you taught us about like discordant, you know, like don't play certain things together, or do actually if you want to like move the energy, and I think that was really profound for me because it wasn't like, oh, remembering that it's a C note for your whatever chakra, but instead realizing like, okay, this bowl and this bowl are going to bring harmony, right? And then like this bowl and this bowl are going to move energy for people. And like, it's funny, my youngest, who is a Cancer, I believe you're a Cancer, aren't you? Is yeah. Oh yes, you are Aries fire. I was like, you're always near water, so like I feel like you're very Cancer.
You're a Taurus.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 planets. I have my moon, Jupiter, and Venus in Taurus.
Oh, then all the beauty and like all of that makes
Venus.
total sense.
People like fashion, like, yeah, it's Venus energy. And also the bulls, it's Venusian. It's like we're here to create harmony.
Yes, but my Cancer sun is the one, my like literal sun that I had, is the one that's always attracted to the bulls. And the other day I had him all out, and he was like sitting there playing them, and he did it so intuitively. And then afterwards, Leah, he goes, "That was beautiful," and I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "You feel it, like you can, like you get it," and like I feel like all of these like crystal codes and energy are very like Lemurian and very mermaidy. And like, do you find that's why you're drawn to playing them near the water? Or like what happens to you when you're playing bowls near the water? Because I feel like you have so many beautiful videos on your Instagram of like you taking bowls to the beach. And honestly, it inspired me to like start taking mine to the beach, even though I feel like people are afraid to do that. Because again, they're like, I don't want to break them. I don't want to this. I don't want to that. But like, they want to be near the water. Like they want to be out in nature.
They want to be out in nature because they're alive. So crystals also, they like to be in the sunlight, right? Like if you keep them in a box all the time, it's like you're keeping a plant inside the house and it's not able to get sun. And so crystal bowls, I love the water so much, and I feel that the water contains memory. Water does, because water can hold intelligence. And so whether I'm swimming or surfing or whatever, I really just remember a lot by being in the water. Playing bowls by the water or putting the water in the bowl, whether I'm near the water or putting the bowl in the water or just near the water, it helps to activate certain things, but also to cleanse. And it's not to say that water needs cleansing, but in a certain way it does. If you feel just how polluted our waters, how people treat the water, just so many things. So oftentimes, even with crystal sound, people say like, oh, I don't have anyone to play for. But even just having one bowl in your house, you're playing for the earth. You're playing for the frequency of the earth. And so when you're playing for the water, it has a really potent effect on that body of water. It's like you're giving something back. And so when I first moved to Mexico, which I never thought that I would do, I moved to Mexico around like 2020, 2021 because my brother was living there. It's a really intense landscape. It's not like Italy. Italy is very soft for me. Italy feels like my mother. Mexico, the elements are powerful. And I live on the Pacific coast, which for me really feels like Lemuria. Tulum feels more like Atlantis to me. But where I live, the elements really command. It's not easy to, no. And so I felt that it was really important to make a lot of offerings and say like, hi, I'm here. My name is Leah. I'm here with my crystal sound. And kind of make that offering and say, I'm here. Like, can you welcome me? I'm here to do this, right? And that, even just doing that little thing shifted a lot for me. Or if I'll go to a sound healing, sometimes I'll bring a jar of water and then I'll give it to the ocean after, right? Just making offerings to where I am, because I do travel a lot, which I don't plan. I just get pushed. It just does something.
It's the law of reciprocity. I feel like it's, you know, the gratitude, the giving before you ever receive. You know, to me, Actually, I feel like it was during your sound healing course, like that I downloaded that like your recipe for manifestation, if you will, always starts with gratitude. Always starts with that sacred act of reciprocity of like giving before you ever try and receive. And I loved for a while there, I was like putting water in my bowls and then like putting them in my plants in my house. And like I swear those plants were like happier and like happier because they received like water that had changed with the crystal sound.
Water, I'm also kind of into a water phase, and I don't know how that's happened. I guess because water is so related to sound. But that you can really charge your water, and the waters that we drink are really important, and they contain memory, and our body is 60 to 70% water. So the water thing also, being around water with sound, what happens with these crystal bowls is that our cells, they start to vibrate faster, and we get rid of toxins, because when you go into a theta brainwave state, which is where we want to take people in sound healing, right? What happens is that your cells start to renew if you go into theta. So before I studied sound healing really intensely, I was like, I don't know if I want to call myself a sound healer, because but actually, if you take someone into a theta brainwave state and they are renewing cells, they are healing. So, yes, right? Getting back to water, water helps to just, what's the word? Integrate everything. If you're getting rid of a lot of cells and toxins, you need to replenish all those new cells. And water just helps the physical body, all the bodies, to really just integrate all the work that you do. So the water that we drink is also very important. How we treat our waters. We are the earth is us. So water. I just find myself near it. I love the ocean, the sea. That would be my favorite body of water, but I also love rivers. What about you? Do you have a favorite?
I'm an ocean girly, but it's funny. I've started to like rivers. Lakes, no, thank you. I don't know if it's just because the water like sits there and you like, it's too stagnant for me. Like, I think I love the motion of moving water. And growing up in Key West, I mean, I was always next to the ocean. I feel calmest by the ocean. I feel the most plugged in to my intuition. Like, I feel like it's so much more clear when I'm near bodies of water, like as conduits. But we're really close to the Chattahoochee River here, and I took the boys the other day, not even realizing that like we had a spot kind of close to us, and I'm gonna go back there over and over again because like just being in that moving water, just being near it again, I was like so grounded, so clear, so just like this is in my backyard. Like why are we not going here more often? And like I get so sad when I think about like how we pollute the waters and like the global warming and the fact that like the oceans are getting just too fucking hot. And like I feel like sometimes we can get a little like defeatist of like, oh, what can one person do about that? You can go play your trombone near the water. You can go give back to the water. Like it's yearning for us too. And if you're feeling that call towards water, like listen. Absolutely listen, because especially as you're working with sound, like I know I get more thirsty too, like the more I work with my sound bowls, and that like even my appetite changes where like I want fruits and things that are like really rich in water versus like heavy dense foods. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I feel like people maybe don't even notice that that's happening, and they might be like, "Oh, I have a weird craving for watermelon," and it's like, no, there's a reason that you do.
I feel this is just my own personal experience, but when I first started playing crystal bowls, I stopped wanting any animal products. I didn't want meat. It's not because of here. Again, it was just a body thing. So I went completely vegan. I ate so many fruits, so many fresh vegetables, seeds for about 5 or 6 years. Now I do eat everything. I need it. My body is like, we need to ground. I also would say that during a phase, I also judged people that ate other things. It was like, how could they eat these heavy things inside of their body? But now I feel that what you want to eat sometimes isn't really, or if you want to smoke a cigarette, or if you need a glass of wine, or whatever it is, everything in moderation. There's some sort of mix that you need, right? It's like your body's asking you for something else to help balance it out. And so when I first started playing crystal bowls, I was quite dense. I would say I wasn't, yeah, I think that I was quite dense. And so my body was wanting to just really detox a lot of that heaviness that was in my body by just having a lot of fresh fruits, by not having animal products at that time. And it kind of just cleared a lot out for me. And then later on, my body was like, hey, we need meat. We need to ground. We need fish. We need this. And I just, at first there was a bit of guilt. And I think that a lot of people who have been vegan and then transitioned back out of it feel that way. But at the end, you have to listen to your body, because these have a very profound effect. Sound has such a profound effect on us. We live in a vibrational world, right? And so if you're working with sound every day and you're singing and you're vibrating your body, you're gonna shift and change. It's just like, for me, there's like, I call crystal bowls, it's a power tool in life. Like Kundalini Yoga, that for me is also a power tool. They are things that change us and cut through the density that's here on this earth, because there's a lot of density, and it just connects you right into spirits or into the golden chain or your higher self, right? But it's powerful. And so you're going to feel some physical shifts in the body. You might be more tired. You might be more awake. You may want a lot of food. You may not want food at all, but it's just because you're playing with something that's pretty powerful.
I mean, the changes to my physical body since I started Kundalini, since I started working with sound, is like amazing. And, you know, people will say like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm actually listening to my body now. Like, I'm giving it what it wants. Like, I'm not fighting that. I'm not trying to, have a strict regimen about anything. Like today, for example, my body was craving celery juice. I haven't had celery juice in like 6 years. But all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I want some today. And so like I went to the store and I made some, and like I may not want it tomorrow. That's totally fine. But like I do feel like working with sound makes you so present. And you know that sometimes, you know, you can really, you're so present almost that you like lock into another dimension, if that even makes sense. Like I remember one time at a retreat, it was really the first time that I allowed myself to like sit and play like a bunch of bowls at once. I started singing this like Christian hymn, Leah, that like, I don't even know where it came from. Like, I felt like I was like channeling Christ consciousness. And then like, I couldn't tell you what the song was, what the words were, but for like a full 10 minutes, I was like sitting there singing and playing. And I was so excited about it afterwards that I remember like at the retreat running up to other women and being like, I just channeled Christ consciousness and blah, blah, blah. And they kind of looked at me like, okay, like whatever. But like for me, I was like, that was life changing. And like, I almost kind of wish I'd kept like the cork in the bottle a little bit and not been so like, oh my God, with everyone else, because I feel like it diluted the feeling that I had, even though I knew in my heart like how amazing it was and how fantastic it was. But there was a part of me that like wanted the external validation of like, yeah, that was cool, instead of just like giving it to myself, you know?
Did you record it?
No, I wish I had.
Every time you play, you should just open up voice notes, like vocal record. The iPhone actually has a really good microphone, and just put it near the bowl, not too close to it, but like this far away. And
Yeah.
I record myself all the time, and then you can share it later. You can put it in GarageBand and put a little reverb on it if you want. But I listen back to myself a lot, and I think it really, one, it's cool to experience yourself, like go into that. You're like, imagine experiencing that as a listen, like being like, whoa. And then two, yeah, I think you can share it. There's a lot of things you can do with it. So I recommend always recording yourself too.
I love that, because I do feel
Always.
like starting the podcast and like going back and listening and hearing my own voice was like one of the things that really helped me not even become okay with my own voice, but kind of like it was so healing. Like your own voice is so healing for your own body. You know, like think about like when you're in a fight or flight state, like humming calms you down. Like it's your own vibration, it's your own frequency. And I think people don't realize that, or don't realize the medicine of it enough, that like, you know, sometimes like I was a kid that talked to myself a lot, and like I feel like that was people always told me that was bad, or like I needed to shut up or be quiet. And then coming back to myself and realizing like, no, there's power in my own voice, and actually like hearing my own voice is good for me. Like, I don't give a fuck if you think I'm talking too much, you know?
Yeah, I've seen you really just, I would say, like, blossom. You've always had it, but it's come out a lot more. Your power of like, hey, here I am, bam. And I love it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the magic of the voice alchemy and the crystal bowls and all of it, you know. Are there any misconceptions you think that are out there, whether it's about voice alchemy, water, crystal bowls, that like is coming to your heart to just share or clear up today?
Um, I think probably the one thing I want to share is that you don't need to be this like ethereal angel to do it. Everyone can play a crystal bowl. Everyone. A lot of times, and you can make it however you want to make it. I think there's a lot of misconceptions that you have to be a certain way, or it's for a certain type of person. But for example, I have a friend and she is also a singer and a song weaver and a voice woman, right? But she was really into drumming and more like shamanic, like making all these crazy noises. And she was kind of not against crystal bowls, but she felt a repulsion.
Like they were too soft, maybe?
It's like all these girls dressed in white and just like, but then when she started to become my friend and life shoved us together, she was like, wow, I actually really love crystal bowls. And so sometimes we see this image on Instagram or on social media of sound, and it can kind of turn us off from something, or maybe we feel like we're not part of that, but really they are for everyone. And that low, long, dragged out sound, like, one, they're crystals, so they come from the earth, so that's just amazing. Two, they produce this really long, drawn out sound that brings you into theta, that brings you into that space of the in between. And not very many other instruments have that. And because they come from a crystal, they have this consciousness. So when we were talking about also Kundalini and crystal bowls and kind of it gives you this inner radiance because it's light. Crystals are full of light. And so you're bringing light into the body. I would say, like, other misconceptions, I think that what I'm noticing also in the space of promotion, Instagram, whatever, because certain things perform well, of like, don't ever do this, or 5 reasons why you should not do this, right? There seems to be a lot of rules, and right? And I'm like, no, I don't know if there's that many rules. Of like, this frequency will heal you, and this chakra will go with this bowl, and this. I'm kind of like, well, let's just feel. I think that there's a big space to just kind of feel more and not be so worried about this, like, I'm doing it wrong, right? Whereas because I speak different languages, I love the word play, because in Italian it's not play, in Spanish it's not play, but in English you say, I'm playing crystal bowls. Play is like, I'm with my inner child and with my higher self. I'm playing, right? But if I'm thinking about all these rules, then I'm not playing anymore. And so I think that that's another thing. It's like, I want to play, and I want everyone else to play and not be so like, 5 things you're doing wrong because you can hurt someone. No, there's play that's missing, I think, from a lot of the things that are being shared.
I love that because, it's like our brains want that structure, but there really are no rules. And any rules that there are, we're just fucking made up by someone anyway. So, like, make your own. Like, if it doesn't resonate to play your bowl a certain way, then don't play it that way,
Or rules. Something that I've been really sitting with recently are also paradoxes, and how there's not ever really one truth to things, right? So there may be certain rules, but then there's also something that's going to contrast that's also going to be true. And I think that's listening, right? It's like sound is also really listening. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So there's a lot of listening that comes in of like, oh, okay, that can be true, but also that can be true as well. Let's not make it so black. Let's not make it so polarized.
Exactly. I was like, there's enough duality and polarity on earth as it is. Like, we don't need to add to that. Do you want to play like for a second for us? So I don't know, I'm feeling like called to the bowl, and I had to laugh when you were talking about the white because like I felt called to put on white when I was like not even wearing white earlier today, but I was like, I don't know, the sound wants us to be like in white today.
So this was my first crystal bowl. Okay. And it's quite big, and she has a lot of, we could have a whole podcast just about her, but we're not going to today. But I'll just play her for you for a little bit and sing, maybe just 2 minutes, or what do you think?
Yeah, that's perfect. Whatever you feel called to. And then whenever you're done, if you want to just close out with whatever you feel called to share, and then we'll be done with the pod. That'd be a perfect way to end.
Okay. So you can just close down your eyes, who's ever listening, and also you, Victoria, and just start to connect with your breath. Oftentimes we're going through life and it's really one thing after another, and we're in a beta brainwave and we're like, okay, let's go. But my invitation with this bowl is just to start to tune into your breath and listen. Letting your shoulders relax, letting your jaw relax. And as you inhale through the nose, just taking in crystal sound. Letting it come in through your whole being. Visualizing that you are breathing in light. Light that comes from the earth, from these quartz crystals that have been in the earth for many, many years. And a quartz crystal, its point is up towards the heavens. So it's charged with cosmic light. Just feeling into your own central spinal column as a column of light. Just bringing in sound and light, which is the same thing, into your being. Just staying here for a minute, receiving the sound. Oh. Taking your attention back to your breath, your inhale, your exhale. Just feeling into gratitude, into any intentions you want to set, knowing that crystal sound amplifies. I'm setting an intention of gratitude and expansion, and just gratitude for being here, for these crystal bowls, for this connection with you, Victoria. Thank you so much for having me. I am offering my 12-week online course. It starts September 22nd. If anyone wants to study crystal sound deeper, It's 12 weeks and it's forever. And what do I mean by that? That once you're done, you can repeat it. I offer it 3 times a year. For me, it's really important that people take their time. I don't like to rush. I want people to feel this in their hearts. And thank you again for having me and just letting my voice be shared with yours. I really appreciate
Thank
you.
you, Leah. Oh my gosh. I was humming along with you, and
That's
it
beautiful.
was like so beautiful. And thank you for sharing your light, for sharing your sound. I highly, highly recommend Leah's training. If you feel called at all, please, please, please send her a DM. Her info will be in the show notes, but it's leah.loose.sound on Instagram. And yes, I know our paths will cross in real life one day, maybe in Mexico or in Italy or France, who knows?
Trips anytime soon?
Oh my God, that's my like dream list.
I see. I feel it calling you.
It's calling so hard. It's just me deciding when I can go, and yeah, but it's there.
Maybe there.
Oh my God, I would love that. I like while you were playing, I literally was like, we've done this before in priestess temples. Like we've sat in ceremony together before. Like this is not anything new. Oh, well, thank you, love. Thank you for listening. If you guys love this episode, please share it with a woman who needs to hear it, who needs to feel it. Please like, rate, subscribe, share, review, all that good stuff. I'll see you all next week. Thanks for
Thank
being here. Be good to one another. Mwah.